Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Basketball Bulletin. I'm Trevor Lane. The NBA trade deadline now, just 48 hours away? A little bit less than that, 47 hours till the NBA trade deadline comes up Thursday, 12 o'clock Pacific time, 3 o'clock Eastern. Lot going on. Luka Doncic introduced to Los Angeles this morning. Anthony Davis is in Dallas making his appearances there. Neither player available to play for their teams just yet due to respective injuries. Luka with the calf, Anthony Davis with the abdominal issue, but AD should be playing within the next few games for the Mavs. Luka, meanwhile, looks like targeting Saturday to make his debut for the Lakers, an afternoon game against the Pacers. That's exciting in the NBA. The Mavs made another trade, sending out Quentin Grimes and getting Cody Martin. We've also got a lot of rumors going on around the NBA, including Jimmy Butler news, a little bit on Lonzo Ball as well, perhaps some smoke screen going on there. Lots of stuff happening around the NBA. And maybe Kevin Durant actually really back to the Golden State Warriors. What the heck is going on? A lot of stuff to get into today. So, Trevor, you're making a million videos, man. Yeah, it's the season. It's the trade deadline. So there's a million things to talk about. That's why there's a million things going on right now. There's so much happening. Oh, Caleb Martin, my fault. See, like I said, there's a million things going on right now. We're all operating on very little sleep currently. Lots happening right now around the NBA. So let's get into some of the latest things happening. And I got this, I talked about it a little bit on the latest video I dropped here on the Basketball Bulletin. By the way, everybody, we continue to be beyond blown away by the response that we've gotten here for the Basketball Bulletin, covering all the news, the rumors, giving our opinions on stuff around the league. We appreciate everybody that's been here hanging out with us and talking hoops with us. Make sure if you're not a subscriber yet, you do hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. Donnie and I, we're going to be bringing you everything going on around the NBA up till the trade deadline and well beyond too. So appreciate all of you. But this, oh boy, getting even worse for the Mavs. The Mavs are offering refunds for their remaining home games to this season to fans who have canceled their season tickets. Mavs fans are organizing. Mavs fans are organizing to potentially cause some havoc for the organization and really show their displeasure with what's happened with the Luka trade. Man, this is a tough situation. I mean, Mavs fans feel this isn't just they're upset because of what's going to happen on the basketball court with the Mavs, which I think Anthony Davis is a great fit there, but they feel they are emotionally hurt. This is hurt them. And so they are going to feel a certain kind of way here in a way that the Mavs reportedly were not expecting. They weren't expecting this kind of backlash. Well, it's coming. They're organizing boycotts, organizing chants for inside the arena. Fire Nico is what they're planning on chanting. This is going to be ugly for the Mavs, and they're going to have to deal with that. Obviously, the Mavs kind of extending an olive branch saying, hey, if you're mad at us for trading Luka, we will issue you a refund for your remaining season tickets along with this cancellation. Let's go here. Amer, hey, Trevor, is there a trade that the league is waiting for before the floodgates open? Is it still the Butler trade? Yeah, as of right now, it is still the Jimmy Butler trade, but things are picking up around the league. You're starting to see stuff get done. And what that is that's a response to two things, really. Number one, the Butler trade not being done at some point. And here we are less than 48 hours until the trade deadline. We're here where teams can't wait anymore. And they're saying, hey, you know what? Yes, we'd love to be a third team, a fourth team, a fifth team, whatever, in a Jimmy Butler trade, but we can't keep waiting. We're too close. Now we've got to get stuff done. So you're going to see teams start to pick up and do things anyway. And then you've got Jimmy Butler running around, wreaking havoc by blowing up all the other trades that he could potentially be at. No, Warriors, don't trade for me. I don't want to play for you. I only want to play for the Phoenix Suns. Well, why? Because the Suns will pay him. That's why. The Suns will give him his next contract. So waiting for a Jimmy Butler trade now seems like a fool's errand because Jimmy himself is trying to stop as many trade avenues as he can to make sure he goes to the Suns, but the Suns still don't have a taker for Bradley Beal. So I don't know what he's doing. Maybe by the time the deadline rolls around on Thursday, he relents and we see Jimmy traded the place that I thought he would wind up all along, and that's the Golden State Warriors. But if he doesn't do that and he continues to tell the Warriors, don't trade for me, I don't know what the Miami Heat are going to do, because getting him to Phoenix is a more difficult thing by the day, it appears. Jumping in now, it's Donnie Freeman. Donnie, how you doing?
Good, man. I'm feeling pretty good. You?
Good. I'm exciting time of year, busy time of year, that's for sure. A lot of stuff going on around the NBA, around the trade deadline. But Benny asks, how many hours of sleep are you even operating on? 4? I think last night I got 5.5,
I was gonna
which is
say, I know
pretty
it's
good
not
this
much.
time of year.
Yeah, I know for you it's not much. You get a little less than me, but
Yeah.
everyone, Trev is like the hardest working person I know. He is nonstop. So round of applause for Trev, because he deserves a break and he's going to be taking one here soon. But he is always on, man. And I don't know how he does it personally, but kudos, man.
Somehow, some way, I get by energy drinks and sheer determination, I guess. But yes, the vacation's already planned. All-Star break. I'm getting out of town, man, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff to talk about before we get there. Who is the guard version of Vando? Good defense, but no offense. With that, I mean, I guess calling him a guard is a little bit of a is a little bit of a stretch. But Matisse Thybulle, I think a Davion Mitchell, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna go Davion, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look up a list of players to jog my memory.
But there are some, but it's harder to be a non-shooting guard than it is a non-shooting big or wing, right?
Yeah, because there's a lot of guys that are like a Vando on defense, but also have offense. Like a Derek White comes to mind, for example. There's guys like that, but there's not a lot of guys that are just flat defense only.
Right.
Maybe is it Caruso?
Maybe, but Caruso, I mean, he hasn't shot the three well this year.
Yeah.
But otherwise, he shot it well enough
to
at least be
historically
respectable.
has. Yeah, you'd have to guard him. And he's also a little bit more of a wing nowadays. They play more 2-3 now. I guess that's still fair. Marcus Smart, sure. Bruce Brown.
But he could be more of a creator.
Yeah, but they're also, I think, both maybe a little bit more respectable than Vando, or at least more willing to take those shots.
Sure.
Because Vando may mess around and take 1 or 2 in a game, and that's about it.
J-Rod said, I got this one already. Ben Simmons. Where do you think Jimmy goes? I think I can't get past the Bradley Beal piece. I just can't get past, a team would have to take Bradley Beal, and I just don't know who would want to take him. If there's some team out there that will take him, then what Jimmy's doing right now makes sense. If he's trying to make sure that the Suns and random team X, whoever this mystery team is, have time to hash out a Bradley Beal trade. But remember, Beal has to okay it too. He used to be okay with going to that team. So I don't know what that's going to look like. I'm going to say I'm going to go with the team that I picked to start this all, and that's the Warriors. Donnie, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd say the Warriors, I think, are the most likely, just because the Beal piece, unless there's this undertone like with Phoenix where it's like, are they maybe potentially going to get off of KD? Because if that's the case, that changes their entire outlook.
So
I don't know if that's to get Butler or not, but just in general.
There's a rumor right now, and this is here. I'll put it up on the screen, from Grant Afseth, who I don't know Grant personally, but that doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of people I don't know. I'm not speaking to the validity of Grant Afseth or anything like that, but who says, let me see if I can put it up here. Multiple league sources have told me. Sorry, one little difficulty there. Okay, there it is. Multiple league sources have told me there is increasing belief that Kevin Durant lands with the Golden State Warriors, which obviously that would blow up Jimmy Butler to Golden State. Yeah. Plenty has to happen, but the Warriors' pursuit of this trade has been aggressive. Just figured I'd mention this as something to watch as the deadline looms. So if I'm the Warriors and I can get Kevin Durant, as awkward as maybe that would be, I would much rather get Kevin Durant than Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. I wonder if they would ask KD, hey, how do you feel about this? Or if they just wouldn't care. I wonder. Because KD certainly deserves that, I think, but they may just still pull the trigger on it. But I do wonder what that would mean for their franchise. Mm-hmm. Because, like I said, I don't think KD will want to go there. But I wonder if that means that they still try to find a way to target Butler, or are they going to retool around Beal and Booker? Like, I don't necessarily know the direction of where that's all going. But back to the Butler piece, I think I think it's probably the Warriors. Otherwise, if they don't land KD or something, I think it's the Warriors. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I agree with that. But again, if I'm Golden State and I have any way to get KD, I'm getting KD. And the rumor is that they're wanting to do something around Andrew Wiggins and picks. That's what they're trying to do, but they're having trouble getting traction. And we know, I mean, we joked about it yesterday. The Warriors are interested in everyone. Everyone they're interested in that would be considered a star. Will they actually pull it off? I don't know. They've got 47 hours and counting.
Yeah, they've got just about 2 days. I think they can maybe get one of those guys, but that's about it. Do you think so? Two things. Firstly, do you think that if they're not able to get one of those two guys specifically, I know they're calling around about other guys, do you think they're going to settle for, let's just say, Paul George? Like if they actually called and were like, okay, let's do the deal for Paul George, do you think they would call that a day? And secondly, do you think that the Wizards are just sitting back laughing at all of this unfolding? Because they are the ones that gave Beal that contract, which is blowing up everything.
They probably are. They probably are. The Wizards are like, nope,
that's your problem, guys.
He's your problem. And Beal's a good dude. Like it's not like he's a bad guy or anything, or he's not doing anything wrong here. It's within his contractual rights to do what he's doing and say, no, I don't want to be traded. I don't want to uproot my family and go there. So I'm not going to. He can do that. But yeah,
they're sitting back having
funny.
A good old.
Did you see the Wizards are actually listed as having the best odds to get Kevin Durant?
Yeah, I saw that. I laughed.
It makes no sense.
I laughed.
I would take that bet all day, every day that he is not going to the Wizards.
Could you imagine?
Dude, there's the Wizard, like they're the worst team in the NBA. I know that it's like the hometown thing and all that, but they're the worst team in the league. There's no way.
What does he do? What if he goes to Washington? Just refuse to play? What happens if he goes to Washington?
Oh yeah, if they've done like it's Kyle Kuzma and stuff for Kevin Durant or something like that. Yeah, KD would just say, "Well, call me in the summer when you've traded most of your roster and gotten me serious players that can play and win right now."
Yeah,
let me know when you've traded Alex Sarr and all these other guys and you've gotten ready to win players. Otherwise, I'm going to be chilling at home.
That's insane. Yeah. It's just a weird spot to be in. There's no way he's going there though.
No. But anyway, could the Warriors do something for like Paul George? They're the 11th seed right now. They don't want to be that. Not with Steph. Not with Steph at this point. The clock is ticking on them, just like it's ticking on the Lakers with 40-year-old LeBron. Steph only has so much time left. They can't spend it outside looking in. They've got to get something done.
But that's fair and all. But is PG like seriously like the single worst player they could target right now out of all the guys that we've heard or maybe expect them to be after? Is PG just not the single worst guy for them to target? It's not about the quality of player so much as it is the contract for me.
Probably. Like, let me ask you this. Would you rather have Paul George on his contract or get Jimmy Butler and have to give him a, let's call it 3-year deal?
Is he making the 60 million PG's making?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're both really bad. I don't want either, to be honest. At that salary number, I don't want either. So I don't know what I'd rather do. I'd rather do neither.
But can the Warriors do that? Can they do nothing?
They should go for somebody like BI, I think.
And that's somebody else that they've been connected to is Brandon Ingram. Now, BI did not play well for Steve Kerr when he was called up to the U.S. team, not this past summer, but the summer before. He was awful. But maybe there's some recognition that was on the international stage. He had a rough summer, whatever. That's not what he really is as a basketball player.
Yeah, they're in a weird spot, especially because they've got to find a way to do something because that's not where they want to be.
They definitely are.
Is there any chance that they can retool and not specifically get another star level player?
Yeah, I mean, they could, but it doesn't seem to be what they want to do. They tried to get Lauri Markkanen. They tried to get Paul George this summer. Now the names we've heard them connected to: Zion, LeBron, KD, Jimmy, Paul George. The list goes on and on.
That's crazy.
So it very clearly, they are star hunting. That's what they're doing. Right or wrong, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Denitrified Beal is literally Kermit sipping tea. He is.
Yeah. I think that's more the Wizards too. They're both sitting there chilling, both of them.
Yep.
Just laughing. Somebody said the Wizards dropped a grenade and walked away. That's basically what they did.
That's what they did.
They said,
It's what
this
they
is
did.
all on you now.
The shot clock was winding down. There's 2 seconds on it, and the Wizards passed the ball to Phoenix.
Damn.
Malachi said, we need Drummond. Why mess up our great players with low value? If I'm Rob, wait till the summer. Trade Wood and a second for Drummond. Well, the math doesn't quite work on that, but you're close. Keep our depth. Talking specifically about the Lakers there, Donnie, I know there's a lot of urgency to try to get somebody now, to try to get the long-term fit at center now. A bridge option at center wouldn't be the worst thing, because this summer, Rui, Gabe Vincent, and Maxi Kleber would all be expiring. You would have $40 million in expiring salaries, plus still that 2031 first, if you go that route to play with this summer. The downside being, if you get a lower quality center now, does that negatively impact your chances to win this year? And LeBron at age 40, that's probably not ideal.
Yeah, I think that moves me though. Like getting all that money to try to get somebody else, that moves me. But only if you are sitting on that 31 pick still. If you're come out of this holding that 31 pick and you make a trade for a bridge guy and don't have to give that up, and I think that makes it work, because I think you could really get a quality player for that. Maybe you add a swap or some other stuff to it, of course, but I think you can get a quality player for that. But who's the best bridge guy that's realistically obtainable? Is that like Clint Capella or somebody like that? I don't.
Well, even
because you
Capella,
still have
though,
to put together.
Yeah, you still have to put together salary. Like, if the Lakers aren't willing to part with Rui in that deal, then game over on that. You can't really get there salary wise unless you want to stack up Gabe and Vando. And the reporting is that the contracts the Lakers are trying to move are Maxi Kleber and Gabe Vincent.
Yeah,
and you can't combine them.
Yeah,
you can't stack them up. So because you can't aggregate Kleber's salary in a trade. So that's not easy. That's a difficult hand to play if you're Rob Pelinka and the Lakers, to try to trade just those salaries. They seem to be pretty intent on hanging on to Rui Hachimura if they can.
Maybe they should target somebody like Day'Ron Sharpe or something like that.
Yeah.
The annoying thing about that is that they had an opportunity to tie him into a deal and didn't go for it.
Yeah.
Assuming it wouldn't have cost a first. They already dealt with them. They should have just tied him into it.
Especially now, Shake Milton is your fourth ball handler on the roster?
Oh, yeah. This roster needs an entire... This roster needs an entire restructuring now. There's like half the roster is legitimately guys I probably don't really want to see play all too much. And then half the roster is guys that I like, but then the fit may be kind of questionable for a few of them. So I think that you could maybe reconfigure this entire roster really and fit it better around Luka and LeBron. And the good news is with those guys, for all the talk about their ability to play together, the players you put around them is the same. You do the same thing, so it doesn't really change anything. So I think that's interesting.
Jaime says, Trev Dog, serious question. How is this channel different from front office? Okay, so there's a couple things, and I'll do, once everything settles down at some point during a quiet part of the year, I'll do a little video on what it's all about and everything, and why kind of we have this and all that. But the bottom line, so front office show, I'm covering the entire NBA kind of on both channels, but in a very different way. Obviously, this is a live stream. It's going to be longer form. In general, this channel is much more short form. I'm talking 8 to 10 minute videos. Sometimes we go a little bit longer, but it's not a full podcast format. The front office show is a standalone podcast that already existed. We converted it over to YouTube, and it lives in a podcast format on YouTube, whereas this channel is much more YouTube based. There is no podcast version of this. It lives on YouTube. It's built for YouTube, shorter form, 8 to 12-ish, 8 to 10, something like that, minutes for our videos here. And then the other big difference is I own this outright. This is mine, right? This is I'm not working for someone else, which is not the case on the other. When you see me on Lakers Nation, when you see me on front office show. So that's part of it too. This gets to be kind of like my own playground here. And this is where, in general, is there some crossovers for some topics right now? Because everything's trade deadline. Yes.
Yeah.
But in general, we're going to offer some more opinionated stuff here We talked about what's wrong with sports media already on this channel. We've gotten into some more controversial topics. I got into even the election and how athletes' commentary on the election matters and doesn't matter and all of that. So there's going to be some more controversial topics and things of that nature that are on here, whereas Front Office Show is much, much more strictly salary cap driven. Even if there is some crossover right now, that's not the long-term vision for the channel.
Yeah, basically. But everything he said.
Yeah, there you go.
This channel, I think it's just what it is with this channel is that it's taken off so quickly that we never really got the chance to address that like in a meaningful way, like that video you were talking about or anything. So
and we will at some point. We will address all of that, but now is not the time of year to do it. That's for sure, because there's a million things going on. But speaking of controversy, was worth discussing. Let's go here. What's the percentage chance Durant goes to Golden State? I'd still just be so shocked. But the word out there is that right now, teams after the Luka trade, they've widened their perspective. Like that's what's going on, right? Teams were like, we have these players in front of us that we could potentially trade for. Now they're like, guys we didn't put on the list because we thought it was way too out there, we're putting on the list because if Luka can get traded to the Lakers, anything can happen. So what's the percentage chance? I'm going to say like 30% for me. I'd be so surprised.
30 still feels high. Man, I'm going to say 15, 20. It just seems unrealistic to me, especially given the history there and how I know Durant probably would not want to go back there, but you know.
Yeah. Would Golden State put Green in a deal to get a star if they were going to trade for both LeBron and KD, which they were talking about yesterday, trying to do? They would have to. So they must have some willingness to part with them.
They would have to do that.
They would have it just math wise in order to make it to take in 100. If it was KD and LeBron,
both of them, yeah.
That's $100 million in salary. They would have to.
Yeah, but that's two guys. I'd imagine that if it's just one guy, they're holding on to Draymond.
Yeah. After the Luka trade, thoughts on a D-Book Rockets trade? So I don't know if you saw the news. The Rockets basically put out there that they're not willing to give up their future Phoenix picks or anything like that. They're not willing to discuss any of their young players. But if Devin Booker were to become available, that's where they would become interested. So as one exec put it, unless you were calling them about Booker, they are not interested. If you're the Suns, if you're willing to give up Kevin Durant, should you be willing to give up Devin Booker?
He's their guy. So that's the only thing that's a little different. And he's younger, a lot younger, right? What's that, like 5-6 years?
Yeah, Devin Booker right now is 28.
Okay, so yeah, he's their guy. He's younger, good bit younger. You could still retool around him. I think the question is more about, do you think Booker can be your 1A and lead you to the promised land? Which I don't know if he can do that, but you know, that's up for them to decide.
Yeah,
I don't think they'd trade him though. I think it's a little bit different than trading KD.
I think what it is, this is like a year from now. Like a year from now, Houston's going to be like, KD, maybe he's gone. Who knows what Bradley Beal is? The Suns are really struggling. Maybe they're at the bottom of the West. And then the Rockets are like, hey, just want to remind you guys, we've got all your picks. We can give those back to you so you can start a proper rebuild with your own draft picks. Then let's talk Devin Booker. I don't think the Suns are there right now. I think the Suns still want to win right now. But I wonder if they're staring down a tough rebuild and the ability to get their own picks back because the Rockets shorted the future of the Phoenix Suns will matter here.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. I mean, what would it look like with D-Book in Houston? Who are they sending back?
Well, let's take a look at that. So Devin Booker right now making basically $50 million. So Houston, if they were to put forth an offer for him and say they were to do it right now, the Rockets are going to put something out there for Devin Booker. You got to stack up roughly 50 million. I don't recall how much money the Rockets have in room right now. I do think they have some flexibility there, but let's say you wanted to put together some young talent. Jalen Green right now trading him is tough because poison pill provision. But let's say you want to do Reed Shepherd. I mean, you could stack up some interesting plays. Ahmed Thompson has been awesome.
Yeah, I'm not trading him.
I'm not trading him either. I would not trade him. If you want to trade Jeff Green, who is 57 years old, you could trade his expiring contract.
Just gets older every time.
He gets older every time I talk to him. You could go with Jabari Smith, and then is there a big contract you could throw in to make? I guess it would have to be Dylan Brooks, huh? To Phoenix. And then you would have Devin Booker coming back. I'm sure the math is not quite right because I'm just shooting from the hip here. Yeah, exceeding.
Aren't you just maybe trading Van Vliet? I think you probably just do that.
That's a good point. Yeah, you probably would just trade Fred Van Vliet in there. So let's say we take, and we're exceeding the allowable coming in. Now, it's only got 1 year left on his deal. So let's put him in there. Let's take out Jeff Green. And then do you remove one of these guys and sub in somebody else? Even that, because Fred Van Vliet's making so much, is tough. But the bottom line, they've got enough pieces that they can work around here that you can make the math. You can make the math work out. Like Devin Booker, the problem is the Suns can't aggregate him. So if they were to do something like this, they could. What's that?
So that works straight up.
Because Phoenix is taking back less money to do this. Yeah. So the Rockets have that wiggle room. But that's why I wonder if it'll be stacking up a few of these guys, these younger players. But anyway, I do think it's something that the Rockets should explore. It's something the Rockets should be willing to do if the pieces are right. Like the Rockets have been so good to where I don't know if I necessarily want to move some of these guys. Even if it is Booker coming back.
You don't need to make a trade
like that. Just organically.
Yeah, you don't need to make a trade like that right now. Especially not when you're the top 2-3 seed for most of the season so far. So no, you don't need to do that.
I saw that. Mark Spears said Dennis Schroeder is now available for trade.
Damn. They said enough of this nonsense.
The Warriors saw that. They're like, yeah, we're going to move on from you. Was it discussed that the reason they were shopping Gafford was maybe because they already knew they were getting Anthony Davis? Oh, I hadn't thought about that actually. They said they wanted a 3-and-D wing. Guess they got that through Max.
Technically, that does happen on that timeline because, in that span, they were already talking about that.
And we also had, there were a few Lakers rumors at the time that now make more sense. When you factor in that if they thought they were going to get Luka, although I don't know how certain they were it was going to happen, but if they thought they were getting AD, shopping Gafford makes more sense. To me, I really thought the whole Gafford thing, which by the way, with Derek Lively hurt, they're not trading him now, but I thought the Gafford thing was about getting Herb Jones and seeing if you could, because the Pels need a center so bad, to see if they could test the Pels to see if they would give up Herb Jones. And if they could get him, they would do it. But otherwise, I don't think they were giving up Gafford.
Yeah, that makes sense. With them maybe pivoting more towards an older team, do you think they were really in on Herb, or do you think maybe they would have wanted somebody a little bit older?
No, I think they'd be in on Herb Jones. If you have a chance to get Herb Jones, get Herb Jones. Like he'd be fantastic. He'd be so good.
And I don't know if they're fully pivoting. They did just get Max back, but that trade today was like, this is like the epitome of lateral. They got a little bit better on defense, a little bit worse on offense. I like it for the Sixers. They probably just didn't want to pay Grimes.
The Sixers cleared salary, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like it for the Sixers, but for the Mavs, it's like, okay.
Yeah, they got more certainty with the contract now.
Yeah, and they get a little more positional size. And like I said, he's a better defender, so it's tricky.
Malachi says, throw Shake and Wood and a second for Drummond. Well, you actually can't combine Shake Milton with anybody else because he's still on that restriction for being traded. You can only throw him out there by himself. But you could Cam Reddish and Wood. Sure, you could do that. Can you explain how we can trade Maxey and Morris? So Markieff Morris and Maxi Kleber could be traded right now, right this second. The Lakers could trade them. The catch is they can't be traded with anybody else. So you can't combine, say, Maxi Kleber with Austin Reeves or something and send a trade out. You can't do that. Same thing with Markieff Morris. You can't stack up Markieff Morris and Cam Reddish and trade the two of them together. They can only be traded individually rather than reaggregated into a trade. So Dennis Schroeder's reaggregation rule lifts tomorrow. And so that will allow the Warriors to stack him into a trade. They purposefully did that trade with enough time left so he could be reaggregated ahead of the trade deadline in case they wanted to, and send him out as a $13 million expiring contract. But in the case of Markieff Morris, in the case of Dorian Finney-Smith, Shake Milton, Maxi Kleber, these guys would have to go out as individuals and can't have other salaries added to them.
Yeah, it was very smart for Golden State to get that done with him the way that they did with Schroeder. So they had just enough time and wiggle room to get it done to where they could maybe put him in something else. But for these guys, there may be value in just keeping Maxi until next year or the offseason and using him as part of a bigger deal like we mentioned previously.
Yeah. Yeah, and that may be something that they do. Now, there's certain rules. I've got a question here saying if Luka wants a no-trade clause, the Lakers should give it to him. They can't, actually. You have to have a set number of years with one team. I believe you have to be 8 years into your NBA career as well. I haven't looked at the requirements needed to trigger a no trade clause, but there's a reason why LeBron and Bradley Beal are the only ones to have one right now. They are not easy to qualify for. So Luka's first year on a new team does not qualify for a no trade clause right now.
Yeah, that's interesting because I'm sure if he asked for one, they would give it to him. If it was available as an option, of course.
Donnie, the negotiation on the extension this summer, it's going to be so easy.
Yeah,
I don't know that he's going to sign it, but it's going to be Luka, we want to negotiate your next trade, or your next deal. So tell us what you want on your contract.
The negotiation is no negotiation.
Yeah, there is no.
But tell us exactly what you want, and you got it.
You want 2 years? Here you go. You want 3 years? Great. 4 years? There it is. Whatever you want.
Whatever you want, man.
You want a trade kicker? You want a player option at the end? You don't want a player option at the end? Whatever you want, you can have it.
You want
80% of your payment up front at the beginning of the year? You can have that. Throw that money in the bank, collect interest, whatever you want to do, invest it. You do it.
That's crazy.
Logan said Josh Green from Charlotte for Gabe and a minimum contract and picks if necessary. Thoughts? He has experience with Luka and it is a 3-and-D2 guard. Sure, I don't mind that. Still have Rui and Austin Reeves as trade pieces and Maxi's tradable this summer. Yeah, I don't mind that idea, but my number one is you still have to get a big. That's got to be. This doesn't solve that problem, but is this a bad trade? No. The question is your opportunity cost using Gabe Vincent to get a big? Is there a deal you have out there to do that? Because if you do have that available, I'm doing that before doing something like this.
Yeah, I think that's what they should be trying to do. Is there any chance that they somehow, some way don't get a center? Like, what does that look like? Are they going to just lean a heavy dose into super switchy wing groups flanked by Jackson Hayes and maybe Christian Coloco at some point? Maybe the buyout market is something they look towards for a big.
Yeah, but I mean, what bigs are going to get bought out that would fit that?
Yeah, it would have to be
salary.
It would probably be an older guy, something like that.
I mean, at that point, we're literally talking bring in Dwight and JaVale for workouts, Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee for workouts and stuff like that. Like that's literally what you're talking about there. Let me ask you that. What about Kevon Looney is on an expiring contract? What if you can get in on be a third team or a fourth team in like a Warriors trade and somehow be the team that lands Kevon Looney? Would you be okay with that?
I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
He's a good offensive rebounder.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Indeed.
It's better than nothing. He's not exactly what you're looking for, but you kind of need bigs. It's almost the same conversation we have with Jonas. Who would you rather have? Probably Jonas.
Maybe. I don't even know. I really don't like Jonas. I really don't like him. And the thing is, I do like him. That's the problem. I do like Jonas for his career. For a while, I've talked about Jonas being a target for the Lakers and everything. he just doesn't make sense on this team.
He makes less sense now. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, he was already a questionable fit before, but he makes less sense now. But chat, don't let him fool you. Don't let him gaslight you. Trevor hates Jonas. Like, he actually hates Jonas.
I am that is my on brand for me. I'm known for that. I'm a known Jonas hater. I won't even listen to the Weezer song, My Name is Jonas.
Oh my God.
I won't even listen to it. I won't even listen to it. That's how much I hate Jonas, even though it's pronounced differently. We stack chips. It's strange how all these centers were in the trade block before the Luka trade. Now the market for centers is dry. LOL, man, they hate this. How they hate us? How much of that do you think is just spin by Rob Pelinka? Because if Rob comes out and says, "Oh yeah, we're definitely landing a center before the trade deadline," that does nothing but hurt his leverage, right?
Yeah, I kind of also feel like Rob is probably also already just looking towards the summer, if I'm being honest, in terms of that, which is why he said, yeah, I'll get like a stopgap guy. But in terms of us getting our real long-term center, that may be something we do, in the offseason. That's like almost verbatim what he said. So that's probably part of it, because the other guys that are on the market, they're not, I don't think they're going to give them to us unless somehow, some way, Rob can get in their ear and sweet talk them into it. I just don't think it's going to happen for some of the guys. Like Kessler, I think is completely off because they didn't want the package we could offer before, and we have one less pick to offer. Pirtle, is that possible? Sure. Is it likely? I'd say no. Like Turner, same deal. No, I don't think it's going to happen. So what are you really looking at? You're looking at some of the other like second tier guys, or guys that maybe are a little bit unproven on cheaper contracts, like a Day'Ron Sharp. That's more or less what you're going to be, unless it's somebody like a Clint Capella potentially. And what do the Hawks want back? They quietly don't need a Rui Hachimura or another wing guy on their
and
rotation.
they have the Lakers pick this year,
and they've got our pick too, so they probably aren't going to try to make us have a better team. So what are your real options? Like, it may wind up being, like I said, somebody like a Sharp or somebody equivalent to that maybe we're not thinking about. That's on the back end of someone's bench, not really playing a lot of rotation minutes. And as long as they fit the archetype you're looking for, you're just going to have to put faith in the fact that they're playing 48 minutes a game with Luka and LeBron, and they'll try to put that guy in position. And if that guy can just protect the rim a bit, rebound a bit, then you call it a day.
That's all you're looking for right now. That's all you're looking for. And it may be that you need that stopgap, the bridge player, whatever it is, to get you to the summer. Vlad, who says no? Ooh, Lakers get Jalen Durant and Tim Hardaway Jr., known Laker killer, Tim Hardaway Jr. Detroit gets Rui, Kessler, and Wood. I would think the Lakers would just take Walker Kessler.
Yeah.
Utah gets Connect, a first from the Lakers and a second from Detroit.
I'll tell you, I like Durant though. I
do like too. Who would you rather have if you could have either player, Durant or Kessler? Who are you taking?
Probably Kessler, but I really like Durant.
Yeah, I would take Kessler. I would cut Detroit out of this and just take Kessler. Yeah. If there was a way to do it. Now, this is if Connect and the first is enough to get Kessler, I'm just doing that.
Yeah.
I would just cut Detroit out. But I wouldn't be upset with getting Jalen Durant and Hardaway and all that. Let's see. Let's go here. Should the Lakers wait till the summer to make a trade? I know they'll have more expiring contracts. I know they need a big, but we have to be smart. Yeah, it all depends on what's realistically available. If there's a move to make right now to land your center for the future, I think they will do it. If that simply isn't available with the clock ticking, then you need to, at the very least, get a stopgap guy. What you can't do is spend the rest of the season with Jackson Hayes as your starting center. You can't do that.
Man. At this point with Hayes, I'd rather just see Koloko get that spot.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest. Or just start small. Like, I don't even want to see Hayes. Hayes is I think Hayes would be a cool third string center, but to be your starting center is just brutal. That's a tough ask. And you still would have a lot of the same deficiencies just magnified because, I don't know, you gave up Anthony Davis in the process.
You literally would probably be better off starting Luka, Austin, LeBron, Dorian
Vando,
Finney-Smith, and Rui.
DFS. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was 6 guys, wasn't it? But some
Did
combination.
I name
of those
6?
guys. Well, I
Maybe.
threw one in, so maybe that was 6 total. But
Yeah.
some combination of those guys and just not starting Hayes, right?
Yeah.
Like that's sad. That says something. Like that actually says something. But I don't know if you'd be better off starting some of the other guys that are out there, like a Jonas or whatever, either, to be honest.
Yeah.
I like actually low-key don't want to see Jonas, Luka, LeBron on the same team. I just don't want to see it.
No.
I just
Please don't do it. Would you do Maxey for Wendell Carter? Well, Wendell Carter can't be traded. He is not trade eligible till after the trade deadline expires based on when he signed his contract extension. So, unfortunately. Also, I like Looney and Adams. Well, the Lakers reportedly talked about Steven Adams with the Rockets, but they were far apart on price. My guess is the Rockets wanted that first-round pick. The Lakers were not willing to give that, and so that would be a pretty big gap in value. Kevon Looney, sure. I mean, expiring contract, $8 million. I'd be fine. Be fine with adding him. Great rebounder. He'd be somebody I'd look at, especially with Quentin Post and Trace Jackson Davis really going there in Golden State. But I think it would have to be part of a big. Golden State seems just focused on home run swings. So if I'm the Lakers trying to get in and get Kevon Looney, I probably have to kind of leech off of a bigger trade and work it that way.
Yeah, I like those guys. I just don't know how that's going to work unless you do exactly what you said, where you kind of leech in. And Adams, I don't know that he's going to be available.
We've got how likely is it we get Day'Ron? Jones can play for specific matchups. If we get him for Kleba, next year is Jonas. Oh, Jonas is Jonas' last guarantee year. Yeah, but it would be Kleba and a second to get Jonas because Kleba's hurt and the Wizards have to be given a reason to do the deal. And Kleba actually costs a little bit more than Jonas. So the Lakers would have to give up something there.
How many seconds do we have? Like one?
Like one. I think there's one left.
Oh, man.
Right? How likely can they get Day'Ron? I would think Day'Ron should be fairly available to them if they really want to get it. Although the time to get Day'Ron was when you did the Dorian Finney-Smith trade. That was the time to get him.
Yeah,
and I'm surprised that they didn't.
They had this need back then, and he would have helped address it, but they still didn't figure out a way to get it done. I'd have to imagine they approached that and talked about that, but maybe the asking price at the time was just so high.
Does Trevor sleep? Chris Rivera asks. No, I wait.
He does not.
I just sit and wait. I'm right. In fact, I stay right here and I wait.
You just don't leave.
I just don't leave. Absolutely no reason to believe it's going to be easier to trade for a big over the summer. Maybe not in terms of the negotiation. You just have more time and more roster flexibility over the summer when rosters are much more unlocked to do it. That's what it buys you. It buys you time to negotiate and much more roster flexibility when you're in the offseason.
Yeah. And like we talked about with that flexibility piece, you can put together some of these guys and maybe get a better center that may be more expensive if you needed to do that.
Yeah. 4-team trade, Pacers, Nets, Hawks, Lakers. I mean, you can have a number of bigs changing hands there, but you got to find putting together a 4-team trade in 48 hours. That's tough. That's not easy to do. Keep our pick and get Dwight. Well, you know what? I don't think Dwight's the solution for the Lakers, but bring him in for a workout. Why not?
It's true.
That's true.
It's true.
I simplify it.
Somebody finally noticed.
That's right. Hey, I can change the colors too here. That make it better? How about we go there? What about this? What if I just go there and now it looks like I'm in hell.
Oh my god. The yellow one actually looks pretty good.
I could do that. You like that?
Yeah, the yellow looks pretty good.
Some gold there.
That's too funny. Because I've told him before, I was like, Trev, you got to pull down the Laker jersey or something.
I know. I just have to do it every time then.
Yeah.
All right. I got a few more minutes here. Let's do this. Lakers trade 2030 swap for seconds, maybe. They could potentially do that. Swap rights on a first round pick to get a bunch of seconds to potentially package or use.
Yeah. Okay.
Dalton Connect for Dayron in 2 seconds. Would you
Hell
be moving?
no.
I'm not moving Dalton for a backup big, which I think is what Dayron is. And he does have upside, but yeah.
I like him, but that seems a little desperate to me. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Luka Doncic. Yep, that's what I'm gonna be saying on the play-by-play.
Oh God.
Oh God, you don't like that?
What happens if he banks a shot in? Or
Luka Doncic.
Oh my God. Can we just move on now? Let's move on. I can't do this.
Donnie, I do need to jump out here. I've got an interview coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay.
You want to keep rolling here?
Oh yeah, I'll hang out with the chat for a couple minutes.
Okay, guys, I got to drop out here. Donnie's going to hang out for just a bit and finish things off here. But thank you, everybody. And I will see you guys again soon because remember, I don't sleep. I just wait.
Yes. We're going to be live for just another about 5 minutes, push it to an hour here. Let me just read the chat. I think we're all caught up on all the super chats as well here. Yeah, we're all caught up. So cool. I'll just read the chat and hang out. Long range Luka. Yeah, that would be funny. By the way, make sure you subscribe and hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Tell the Dwight fanboys to stop. Dwight, yeah, I don't know that that's gonna happen, unfortunately. I don't know that that's gonna happen. Bull or Markkanen, as in Lowry? I don't think he can't even be traded this year. Bull, I don't know. What about a Jericho Sims? He'd be a fun archetype. I think with these guys, you could honestly, I don't know that you need some star level big or anything like that. I think you can actually make do otherwise with a just halfway decent big because you would have Luka and LeBron elevating that player. And as long as they can play defense and rebound, that's all you really need, like I mentioned earlier. So 2 left feet Luka. Mitch Robinson would be nice as long as you don't have to give up too much for him. Like, I don't know that I would give up the first. Luka, get it done. Hayes will be a little better, but they're cooked. Yeah, so Hayes, I'm not like high on Hayes at all, but he will be a little bit better. He is the type of player that you want around a Luka, especially because he's such a mobile and vertical spacing big, but he's just too frail, not able to rebound. He's not the type of guy. Kello Ware, yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. There's zero chance he's getting traded. But hey, Luka got traded. Thomas is too light in the pockets. Is he? I have to look at him, but I wouldn't want Thomas anyway. Stewart is on his way to being fully suspended. Stewart would be a nice get, but yeah, he's like kind of crazy. So what do you think it would take to get Atlanta to move Okongwu? Probably more than the Lakers have right now, to be honest. He's their starting center for the future. Why is Utah, that one moved, holding on to Walker? They're a losing team with no hopes for the next 10 years. I mean, 10 years is a long time. I can't really say they have no hope for 10 years. But he's somebody that's one of the best rebounders, offensive rebounders in the NBA, best rim protectors in the NBA, 7 foot, big sturdy dude. You don't really trade a lot of those guys. I thought the whole time it'd be stupid to trade him. It's not that they're holding on to him. He's their young 23 or so year old guy that they drafted, and you don't know what you have until you get a lot of those guys, a handful of those guys, put them together, build your team, and do what you need to do from there. It's not that they're just holding on to him. They're doing the smart thing. You hold on to your young guys. It's not like he's a hostage or something and they should be trading him just because we want him on another team. That doesn't mean they have to trade him. They're doing the right thing. Nurkic's cheeks, I don't want him. Yeah, I wouldn't really want Nurkic. He is a good passer, but that's not necessarily what you would need on a Luka LeBron team. Morrison, a second for Yabusele. They're probably getting better offers for that, especially right now. Yabusele's been balling. Luka and LeBron would elevate young bigs like Koloko and Jemison if we elevate them to the 15. Hayes is unplayable, but they're worth the shot. There's talk about them maybe making a small move. I wonder if said small move is them just clearing up roster space. That's like the worst case scenario. It's kind of possible, I guess. That's like worst case scenario. It's something they could potentially do, but that would be That would be interesting. I think Koloko would be pretty good. I like Jemison, what he's done a little bit too. He's the bruiser that they've been looking for, I guess. He's not but he is one of the type or whatever, right? Yabu would be great. May take 2031. Yeah, I think it takes that and more, to be honest. I'm really questioning, maybe 31 is just so far out, but I'm questioning the value of 31 now that Luka's potentially staying long term. They'll bring in a cheap center. Yeah, I think it's probably most likely. I watched Koloko and Jemison last night at South Bay. They're okay. So whatever you saw from them, you can probably expect more from them when they're alongside Luka and LeBron. Look into Turner. Turner's not getting moved, I would say. But hey, Luka went to the Lakers. Like, can we just always say that? Like, I don't think he's getting moved at all, but you never know. Can you trade Austin and get draft capital in return? I mean, I'm sure you can, but why would you do that? I think you would probably be better off just using that value Austin has to trade him for a player that's going to be a part of your starting rotation. Wemby for LeBron, and that's where we're going to end it. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream here on the Basketball Bulletin. I'm going to go ahead and wrap here, but thank you so much. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Have an awesome day, everyone, and I will see you all next time.